of my first year becoming an activist, essentially going to those college campus events, I was with him at many of them debating those kids. And that conversation needs to be happy. You can't squelch that, but I mean, this is just, I have to go vote right now, but this is horrifying.
Deseret News is reporting the Speaker of the Utah House has said that Charlie Kirk has died. Your reaction, your initial reaction?
I hope that that's wrong, but I would really hope that the Speaker of the Arizona House is not speaking on behalf of the Utah House is not speaking before the family's been notified.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
We'll find out in just a minute. So, big day.
Congressman, there's no reaction to what happened to Charlie Kirk today.
It's horrendous. To see it up close, good God. You know, people are trying to shut down free speech making like Charlie Kirk. There's no place in this society. This is what happens in third world countries. But so sad for his family and his children.
Do you think this country has a problem with political violence?
Absolutely. You know, put the handcuffs on the police and all this, it was in a gun-free zone too. And but a guy like that meant so much to this country. To take him down, you saw what happened in Charlotte, cashless bail. It's no excuse for it. It's time for people to take the country back. And but it's horrendous. And to see the up-close shooting and to see what happened in Charlotte, we've got to deal with it.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, sir.
No, you're fine.
Hey, Hannah, can you hear me?
Flaws, but at the same time, they're not wishing harm. And we got to, I think, also kind of remember that in the end we're still one country. But no, it's frightening because you know, we've been living with fear on our side just as much as their side. So thank you.
Do you have concerns about generally members' safety and the security level that y'all have here?
Here I think we're okay, but we've always been concerned about the safety of members across the board, and under, honestly, I don't like to get political, but under this administration it's always seemed a little bit more intense, the rhetoric. So I've always been concerned across the board for elected representatives from both sides of the aisle. We saw it with Gabby Giffords, you saw it with Scalise, you just see it across the board. So it's not new, but it's actually when things like this happen, I think members are completely on edge. And, you know, people are mothers and fathers, and we shouldn't have to be frightened for our safety. You know, so it's disgusting. I don't think anybody would, no one would condone it.
Do you know how well do you know Charlie Kirk?
I knew Charlie pretty well. I know Charlie pretty well. Charlie, he's come to my district. We text and talk about policy. You know, he was ironically trying to engage, whatever you think of his views or my views, he was trying to engage in civil discourse on college campuses and invite people opposing views and just to go back and forth and have a debate. And now you have this. It's just, you know, when I was in college, you used to be able to walk in those doors and just walk right into the Capitol. You know, didn't have any of the security. Obviously, the airports were the same. And the more we just have this like sickness in society, the more we have to clamp down, and the more you have to have, you know, security barriers and lock down our society because people are just sick. And there's obviously no place for it. But at the end of the day, right now, we're just praying for Charlie. I don't know. I keep getting conflicting reports. So just pray for him and his family.
So should there be changes here to your security protocol?
I don't know about all that stuff. I mean, I hate it. We should be able to have the American people come, and we ought to be able to debate and have dialogue and go to college campuses without fear of, you know, this kind of attack. But Charlie, he's a strong guy. He's a good man. I hope, you know, praying for him. I don't know the status. I have no idea. I keep getting conflicting reports. So praying for him and his family. He's got, you know, a little baby, and, you know, so just God be with them all.
What does he mean to the conservative movement?
All right, Charlie's a huge, he's a strong intellectual voice in the conservative movement. Again, you can agree or disagree with him, but, you know, he just went over to, you know, London and had one of those his Oxford debates or whatever he was doing over there. But, just really brought deep intellectual rigor to the debate that is currently raging in our society. And, again, I'm praying for his recovery. And he's an important part of this whole fabric and debate, and praying for his family. So, God bless him. I got to go vote. See you guys.
I'm like,
Can we get your reaction? We've got to work together to de-escalate the rhetoric and the hate in this country. It is upsetting. It's upsetting what's happening in schools, and we all have to work together. Hate is not acceptable. I can't. I cried when I found out he died. So all of us have got to work together and de-escalate the hate and the rhetoric in this country. And remember, we're Americans, and you can disagree in a way that doesn't end in a horrible way today did.
what can change, here in this building, around the country? Because we hear lawmakers, we hear political activists say that those same things every time something like this happens.
I'm somebody who goes to the other side of the aisle and talks to everybody. I'm someone who walks her talk every single day. And I'm asking everybody, I say it every day, whenever you see hate, stand up to it and speak out, which is how I've lived my life.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But the idea that we would, that there would ever be violence to resolve any of our disagreements is preposterous and cannot be allowed. And we've got to figure out a way to turn this around, because it's getting worse and worse, and it's got to stop. And I don't care whether someone's liberal or conservative. It doesn't matter. It has to stop.
This afternoon.
I think what has just transpired is tremendously disturbing. It is the latest evolution and instance of political violence in the United States, and it must end.
Congresswoman, what message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment? What message do you have to your fellow lawmakers regarding the political environment and the rhetoric that has been put out in the media?
Beyond rhetoric, we need to talk about action. And we need to talk about, yes, there are words, but most importantly, we are in a job of leadership. We are in a job of action. We are in a role and a position where the American people are looking to us to do something about this. And every single day, people are dying due to gun violence in America, and every single day there are people in this building that continue to vote against doing anything. They vote against universal background checks. They continue to support legislation and also remove any way to block the mentally ill, to block extremists, to block people with histories and records of domestic violence from getting guns in their hands. So are we going to do something about this or not? We have a political assassination that happened at the same time as a school shooting where children are dying on the same day, a week after a shooting at a Catholic school where children were gunned down while praying. Are we going to do something, or are we going to argue over rhetoric? That is my question about this. We have to pass gun safety legislation and stop this.
One congresswoman was saying that was yelling at Republicans, and you Democrats. That was Kirk.
I mean, people can finger point all they want. Look at the record. Look at the actions of what we are doing. I don't think a single person who has dedicated their entire career to preventing gun safety legislation from getting passed in this House has any right to blame anybody else but themselves for what is happening. We have to stop this. We can stop this. And why don't we start by acknowledging that basic common sense gun safety legislation is not taking away a gun, is not attacking the Second Amendment, but it is about ensuring the safety of our children, of women, of people across this country, to ensure that guns and firearms do not get in the hands of people who are going to use them against human beings, period. Domestic violence is one of the highest indicators of whether a person is going to kill someone else with a gun or not. There are so many other indicators, and I think it is so deeply important that when a politician tries to blame words for inaction, they need to look at their action and their record. Enough of this. This is horrific. This is awful. And the assassination of Charlie Kirk risks an uncorking of political chaos and violence that we cannot risk in America. We cannot risk. Thank you.
Are you worried about holding events in public?
I think that, of course, it's a natural consequence to see this and to be worried about this. And I think, but what is most important is the fact that we've gotten to this place, and we need to figure out what we can do to ensure that every American can feel safe going to a public event. Thank you. Sorry.
The fact that we asked for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk, and then the Democrats decided at that point in time to try to shout that down. First and foremost, Charlie Kirk is now pronounced deceased. He was murdered. I don't know anything about the suspect yet. I think everyone's waiting to hear that, but that type of rhetoric is the exact type of rhetoric that got him killed. So to be clear, we should have been allowed to pray for Charlie. I would encourage the speaker to go back tomorrow and let us pray on the floor for Charlie Kirk's family now and the rest of the people that have been impacted by this terrible loss.
You said they caused this. You said
most certainly, yes, they did cause this. That type of rhetoric, you calling people fascists, you basically saying that we're Nazis, taking away people's rights. Charlie Kirk was literally murdered, and you can see that footage online, and I would encourage people, instead of sharing that, please share pictures of his family and the legacy that he left behind.
Congresswoman, he recruited you to politics. Can you talk a little bit about your early experience with Mr. Kirk?
Yeah, I was supposed to go to medical school, and he convinced me that politics would be a better option, so we'll help continue that fight and for the movement. Thank you.
That was Congresswoman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's something that a lot of us were talking about on the House floor. I've got some of the most death threats in Congress, but today really isn't about me. And I think I just keeping my focus on Charlie's wife and his 2 young children, and of course his family and the whole Turning Point USA family. And it's the worst thing, shocking, and everyone's really devastated. My children are devastated. Just everyone I know. It's there really aren't words.
Can you speak to his importance to the conservative movement, to your own political rise?
I really think what was great about Charlie Kirk, and I was just telling Tia this, is he would go on college campuses and tell young people to get married and have children, and just talk about how wonderful it is to be married and have children. He shared the Word of God. He was a Christian, and he shared the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he encouraged young people. And he also would have debates on ideas on college campuses, which, I mean, that's our First Amendment, and college campuses have always been a place for that. And I believe today he was killed for the words that he says and the things that he stood for. And we're honestly shocked. We're devastated, shocked, and angry. And those are just natural feelings.
How close were you to him?
Charlie Kirk is a friend. He was a good friend. I spoke at many of his events over the years. Knew him when he was a lot younger. And, I mean, he's not much older than my oldest daughter. But I just think it's really, honestly, horrific.
What kind of legacy does he leave behind?
Charlie Kirk leaves a huge legacy. It's going to be hard for anybody to fill his shoes. He was extremely important. Students all over the country would get very excited if they found out he was coming to their college campus. He brought in thousands of people to hear him speak. Even people that didn't agree with him would come, ask questions, even argue with him. He was always about the debate, and Charlie Kirk was never for violence. And to see him murdered in such a graphic way in front of the camera, and that video is too gruesome. Honestly, I hope it gets taken down. I don't think his wife or children one day should ever see it. I really hope it gets taken down. But I'm at a loss for words, and I'm not often at a loss for words.
How concerned are you about your own safety in the wake of this attack? And, you know, he's a giant on the right. You were a giant on the right.
Yeah, he had asked me that too. Of course, I am very concerned. I have some of the most death threats in Congress, and they're always ongoing. But again, today it's not about me. Today it's about Charlie and his wife and his family and everyone that's mourning his loss.
Thank you. Thank you, Congresswoman. How was Congress moving forward together with Republicans?
Hey Rick, something dropped here. This guy, I'm not sure. Oh, okay. I think I might have rained it over. Sorry if that's something important.
Well, look, I think it continues to force us to think very deeply about what we can do in the moment to try to stop this. And it is just literally gut-wrenching to think about this. And it shouldn't matter what your political views are. You should be able to state in America whatever you feel. But, you know, continue to try to think how we protect. But it's not just members now. This is somebody who's engaged in public discourse, but he's not an elected official. So while my primary responsibility is for members and staff, it is a much bigger question about violence in society today and what all of us can do. What we should all own the fact that sometimes rhetoric leads people who are unstable to think that they can somehow help solve the problem or address it. And it's just awful, and we need all to speak with a single voice about how completely unacceptable it is to have political violence in America.
A couple of Republicans just came down these steps and said that it's Democrats' fault that it has happened. Your response to that?
I think on a day when this young man has lost his life and his family is grieving, to be talking about the politics of this is just so inappropriate. And look, at the left and right, if that's what we're going to do is just point fingers based on ideology when a tragedy like this happens, I think we have lost our way as Americans, as civil society. I think it has no place today in any of the conversation.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Congressman. Oh, thank you.
Luna we got twice.
Somebody.
Democrats and elected officials of both parties can do to kind of tone down the rhetoric after what happened with Charlie Kirk, you know?
I mean, it's a horror what's going on, and the gun violence is out of control, and you know, my heart goes out to Charlie Kirk's family. What a nightmare this whole thing is, and we saw it recently in Minnesota with elected officials being targeted, and you know, it's just out of control across the country, and so.
Is this, so you would say this is a gun violence issue, not a political rhetoric issue?
What is a gun violence issue?
The political assassination that we saw in Minnesota, the political assassination that we saw today in Utah with Charlie Kirk?
Well, you know, there were also young people who were shot today in Colorado. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there were high school students who were injured by gun violence. So we have a major problem with gun violence in the country. America's in a class by itself in terms of the modern industrialized world. But we have rates of gun violence that are 10 or 20 times higher than Canada, the European Union, Mexico, or, you know, what have you. So that's something concrete that we can do to try to turn this nightmare around. Obviously, I don't want people engaged in political violence of any kind, whether it's with guns or knives or fists. The whole point of having a social contract is that we resolve our conflicts non-violently through the political process.
Some Republican members of Congress have blamed Democrats at this point and the rhetoric from the left as a result for this shooting. I mean, do you think that rings true at all?
Well, first of all, I haven't seen any reports about who the shooter was or who the killer was, and I think it doesn't help a very difficult situation for people to be blaming violence like this on political parties or political factions. I certainly resisted that when I heard people doing that after the Minnesota killings or after Paul Pelosi was attacked, and there's no reason for us to get into that. The violence against political leaders is unacceptable in a free democratic society, and it is a threat to democracy. So we all have to denounce it, we all have to reject it, and we should all resist the temptation just to point fingers. That takes us nowhere. We should be rejecting gun violence and political violence in all of their forms, regardless of who the target is.
As far as the political rhetoric goes, though, do you believe that lawmakers on both sides need to tone this down?
Sure, I definitely believe lawmakers need to tone it down, and we should do our best to try to make friends with people on the other side of the aisle. I mean, we're all Americans, right? So I just don't accept the idea that to belong to a different political party means that you're in some kind of enemy camp, and we all have to reject that and struggle against it.
Yeah. How do you struggle and reject that? I mean, it seems like so much of this comes from a cultural animus that's almost bottom up in a sense. Can you really display a top-down sense of an example to follow that you think will be effective?
Well, I think no, but we can display bottom-up forms of friendship and relationship, and I hope we all can do it. I mean, obviously, in the House of Representatives, we got 435 people. You can't make close friends with everybody, but everybody can try to make friends with some people who are outside of their immediate, state or political group. I certainly try and do that, and I hope we all will try and do that. But it's a very dark time with the political violence spiraling out of control, and gun violence a threat to everybody in the country.
You and other members of the former January 6th committee had stepped up security in the days after that committee. Are you worried for your own safety and the safety of your colleagues?
I mean, I'm worried for the country that we're in this state. We've got to step away from violence as a way of people expressing political differences or even, passionate feelings about things. We can model for our kids that we know how to use words, we know how to use language, we know how to have conversations. But the idea that people use violence as an instrument of their emotion is just intolerable. The whole reason we have a social contract is to make ourselves safer. And that means that we resolve conflicts within American society nonviolently. And that's something that every political leader and public official today should be speaking up for. And we should be modeling as much as possible civil dialogue, even when we have very strong disagreements about stuff. We've got to model civil disagreements. And then, I feel very strongly about gun violence and the unique situation the United States of America is in. And I've been very willing to talk to colleagues across the political spectrum and across the aisle about why I think we need to act. We have more than 90% of American people who support a universal violent criminal background check on all gun purchases. Commanding majorities support bans on assault weapons, so we don't, see, future horrors like we did in Newtown or in Parkland, Florida. Some people say it's impolite or impolitic to talk about policy solutions on a day when people are shot. Unfortunately, people are shot every single day in the United States of America. So how are we ever going to get out of this nightmare if we don't have an honest accounting of what's taking place in our own society?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. No, you're fine.
Yanking on your hair. I'm so sorry.
I was thinking something stop. You're fine.
Did you take an audio?
I did. I can sit down.
Sorry. Is that why you're apologizing? Wait. They caught him, right? Did they cut him?
No, the last I saw, they were searching for him.
Yeah, I don't think they did. The snipers.
Yeah.
Try to wear your earpiece, Dave.
I've been running around.
I got him, all right. You need a new earpiece. Huh?
I had it in there once. Got one?
You need a new earpiece.
Congressman, your reaction to the assassination of Charlie Kirk?
Well, the killing of Charlie Kirk, I mean, it was obviously shocking, the way that happened. And as I said earlier, the absurdity that this is a guy that you can disagree with him. I obviously agreed with him on most things. This is a guy that was trying to open up dialogue and engage in civil discourse across college campuses, and it was part of his appeal, even those that disagreed with him, right? Just engaging in an open debate. And it was extremely popular. And, this is going to be one of those things that, changes some things. I haven't quite yet figured out how or what, but, it's, this one hits. I'm just thinking about most recent conversations with Charlie about different issues, different things. And my son, I was texting with him, and he was a big fan. And he was asking about it, and I told him, I said, stay off of it. He's not on social media, he can't ask it, but if somebody sends him a video or something, I said, just don't click on all that stuff. And, he asked what its status was. I told him he had passed away, and he goes, oh man, is that public news? And I said, it's official. He's gone, and I'm sorry. And he said, I'd like to have met him. And then sent a Bible verse about staying the course. And I was really proud of him. But look, this is gonna, this is gonna change things. I just kind of got to figure out exactly how. But we're going to stay the course and keep doing what we believe. But a country that's turning its back on our collective faith as a nation, this is why we're seeing a breakdown in our ability to band together. We got to do something about that.
How do you turn down the rhetoric, turn down the threat of political violence?
Well, I mean, we should be able to speak freely and speak with passion and regard about what we believe without it coming to that. That's the thing. But even just the stuff that wasn't political violence here directed at Charlie, but what Charlie was even talking about as recently as yesterday or probably today, I haven't heard what he said today at Utah or anywhere else, but you know, about what happened to that young Ukrainian refugee in Charlotte. It's insanity. I mean, with the sickness of people on the street, whether it's you know, people that are violent like that man in North Carolina who was, you know, should have been in jail, or whether it's just people that are sick from their political hatred. You got to be able to get that our founding fathers. I mean, obviously we went through a civil war. Our founding fathers were often at each other's throats. Adams and Jefferson famously, you know, hating each other and then kind of coming to respect each other. Like you either are bound together by something or you're not. And I think we should be bound together by the much greater purpose for this nation. And, you know, that's what I'm going to stand with, and that's how I'm going to move forward with all this. We're here for something bigger and greater than all of ourselves. Charlie lived it, tweeted out 3 days ago about his faith in his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, so I know where he is. And just God bless his wife and his 2 young children.
What does it say that on the floor? I mean, you guys couldn't even get through kind of the prayer without it being a shouting match between folks on there.
Look, there's people on the floor that are very close to me.
Just describe to me what you saw. And I know there's certainly, this has an emotional impact on you too, having witnessed a homicide, but also just you have reporter mode and you have to sort of cover this.
Right. Hey,
if we can have you get ready for the press conference, we started.
I mean, like Charlie, I don't know how to say past tense right now. It's just Charlie was a incredible deep thinker, grounded in philosophy. I mean, I remember a couple months ago he was over at some, Oxford, you know, debates or whatever it was. Just like true deep thinking, you know, classical education type engagement on the things that we believe, and that's really important. It's important to have thoughtful discourse that makes you think, that forces you to go through logic and reasoning and our history, and be rooted in history, and not let you get away with just sound bites and turn and walk. Charlie was not that. Charlie was the opposite of that. Again, you can disagree with him, but he was deeply rooted in philosophy and principle and faith and knowledge and history, and we need more.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. Today, at approximately 12:20 Mountain Standard Time, political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot in an event at the Utah Valley University. He was taken by a private vehicle to Timbernovis Hospital, where he later passed. The Utah Department of Public Safety will be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the FBI, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that what you experienced was very difficult. Our thoughts are with you as well. As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake field office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
On behalf of President Jimenez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We agree with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU and seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was foremost
question in there. only thing I'll ask is that you look at me, not the camera, and that's about it. I might move the mic depending on who's talking, but that's about it. So first question is, would you be willing to share your first name, your last name, and spell it for me?
My name is Michelle Black, MICHELEBLACK.
And are you a resident of here?
I am.
And then if you're willing, could I get your first name, last name, spell it?
It's Amanda Black, AMANDABLACK.
I mean, unfortunately, I know why you're here, but can I ask what made you, make the sign and be out here, on the sidewalk today?
Well, we are both conservatives living here in Utah, and Charlie Kirk has been an inspiration to not only us, but our generation. And the news that what we heard today was just absolutely devastating, and we didn't know what to do. We were pacing back and forth in our home, and we just wanted to come out here and be a part of the community and show support and lift up some prayers for Charlie and his family.
I agree. Charlie Kirk has been an inspiration to me for a really long time. When I heard the news today, I was devastated, and I wanted to do something. I didn't know what I should do, but Charlie always taught that you should pursue truth, goodness, beauty, and virtue, and I felt like this is something that I could do to push in that direction.
I mean, this feels like one of those horrible moments where they say, where were you? How did you find out that this had happened? And not only just it happened so close.
So we were just sitting on our couch watching a movie, honestly. It was my day off, and a friend of ours from the military that's staying with us came down and said that there was a shooting at UVU. And so we naturally just jumped on our phones to see what the news was. And hearing that it was Charlie that was shot, my heart just immediately sank. And from that point forward, we were just waiting for news, refreshing our browsers on the internet over and over again, just to see if there was any news of his condition, if he was going to be okay. And we, watched a couple of live streams from some people that we follow, and when the news came out that he didn't make it, it was devastating.
Same reaction. We were watching a movie, and we just kept hoping for the best. Utah has one of the best, or a few of the best trauma centers in the nation, and we were hoping that his security got him down in time. We were able to stop the bleeding, and we're just praying and, sending out all the positivity and prayers that we could, and unfortunately we didn't come through.
I know you weren't at this event, but did you ever have a chance to see him speak in public?
I never did,
No?
No, I've been following him for a really long time. I loved watching him, just how articulate he always is, and how respectful and truly good he was to people around him. And I've just always been a huge fan. I watched Charlie Kirk on repeat for sure.
Well, that kind of leads me to my last question, and I thank you so much both for sharing. People know his name, but in a politically charged environment, they might not really know him. They might just kind of know Turning Point. They might just know him. What's something about him that drew you to him, that made him an important part of your political life, maybe more?
I think for me, I think a lot of people kind of spend a lot of time floating around and kind of wondering what's good and what's bad and which direction you should go, trying to find yourself. And he was always so confident. He was always so articulate. When he spoke, it made sense. And the fact that he was fearless and what a hard worker he was truly an inspiration, which is why I wrote that on my sign. Charlie is an inspiration still, and that's why I wrote that. And he's just very inspiring and, again, very good to everybody. Always respectful in debate, but always very effective in debate at the same time.
Thank you so much. It looks like they're gathering, so I don't want to get in your way. Thank you so much for sharing with me.
They have an option in showing the time.
Remember what time should
We all gather here, obviously, with saddened hearts. I'm sure if I took a moment, everyone spoke.
saved. And let me do this. I need someone to keep their eye open. They will be taking Charlie Kirk out momentarily, we think. And we'd like to go by the sidewalk and support him as he leaves. Our hearts are very heavy. And I want to start with a word of prayer, if everyone is okay with that. And then we'll sing Amazing Grace. You'll have to get your phones out, because I don't sing very well and I don't know all the words, but we could do that together. I'll say a few words, and then if some of you want to say a few words, keep it to a minute. It's not a testimony meeting, but for those of you who don't know what that means, it's going up to the pulpit and telling stories for a long time. But I got, running the group we do over the past 6 years, I got dozens and dozens of phone calls from people who didn't know what to do. Get it? We had a president that was assassinated almost. We have Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated. And I think this is the first time I've cried today. I was very angry all day long, as many of you are. For me and my family, I've had enough. I won't stand for this anymore, personally. I just won't. And I'll keep my adjectives in line. I will bring out my other dictionary. So let's bow our heads. I'll try to get through a word of prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, we humbly bow our heads as a community, as children of Thee, and we pray at this time for strength, for your Spirit to fall upon us, that we could take upon the yoke of Thy Son Jesus Christ, as our hearts are heavy, as we have lost a Son of God, a true disciple that loved Jesus Christ and followed to the best he could, and was a great example here on earth, and was a great minister, and was a great teacher, and was a great friend to many. Although many of us had never met him, we felt we knew him. And he spoke for many of us, if not all of us, in many of his words. We pray that his teaching, his counsel, his education might go out among all of us, our children, our youth, and society. Father, please lift up his wife and his children and his family. Most of all, those that were in attendance that are feeling alone, they're feeling destitute, they're feeling full of anxiety of not knowing how to handle this, that they may bow knee to Thee and ask for comfort. We pray that you might welcome Charlie Kirk into your arms. We pray for this in Jesus' name, amen. So if you get your phones and pull out Amazing Grace, and I could have someone. Thank you. Hey, can you sing? Amazing Grace, can you start for us? Wait, wait till they get the phones out. You're okay. You're okay. Come on. Let's do this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. very much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll give, I think, whatever we need, 5 or 6 people that want to speak in a minute that maybe just need to be heard or vent. That'd be great. But here's what I'd like to say. I guess I'll let my anger out first. Yeah, before that, he's got a scripture out of Revelations. Maybe that'll calm you down a little bit. Listen to the scripture. It's very poignant. Say it loud.
With that, I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, the tent of God is with mankind. He will reside with them, and they will be his peoples, and God himself will be with them. And he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more, neither will mourning nor outcry nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away." And the one seated on the throne said, "Look, I am making all things new." Also, he says, "Write, because these words are faithful and true." Charlie Kirk was a happy warrior, and we will always remember him that way. And thank God that he brought him into our lives, and most everyone here was affected in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully that helps a little bit to feel some solemnness.
Thank you.
With hope.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Charlie left a legacy. I don't know if you have children in college that have been there. I don't know if you have kids that have gone to his events. We know many in our group that have gone to his events and come back changed, renewed, vigor of energy, ready to take on society. I got interviewed earlier and someone asked me, well, what do you think is going to happen in a go forward? And I think we all have our own opinions what will happen. Usually voids get filled, right? They just do. It's going to be hard for someone to step in the shoes of Charlie Kirk. But someone will do their best to step up and step in. And we need to support those kinds of people. In our group, Utah Patriots, we're very active, a few of us, doing counter-protests. So we're very familiar with these kinds of people, especially here in Utah. It's alive and well. The left is very alive and well, and they don't want God in your life. They don't want Donald Trump in your life. They don't want goodness. They want socialism, basically. I see it. And we all see it. And if you ever thought the fight isn't real, the fight is real. And I pray to my God in heaven that Utah wakes up. Because I'm telling you what, Utah as a whole, the Christian community, I'll just call it that way, the mainstream here, keeps their head in the sand and they think all's well in Zion. Well, I'm sorry, all is well in Zion is not a true statement. We're in trouble. And if we don't act collectively as a group, it's going to get worse. They are so beholden to walk into a university, climb up on that building, if you've seen the video, and take a shot at Charlie. And it was a professional shot. Many of us here, a few of us shoot. It wasn't just a luck shot. This was a targeted assassination. If there's any doubt, you're wrong. If you take some time and listen to the questions that were asked, and the last question that was asked to Charlie Kirk and the timing of that bullet, it's not coincidence. It's not. We need to pray for our law enforcement to catch this SOB and bring him to justice, and I'm sure glad the death penalty is still here in Utah. And it's done by firing squad. Do I have 5 volunteers? Down. There we go. We're here. I'm sick of this.
Me too.
Utah Patriots is all volunteer. I hope everyone gets involved. And I hope if you're hurting, reach out to somebody. Don't keep it pent up. Talk to somebody. There's other people that can maybe lift you up at this time of need. But there's only one person that can truly help, and that's Jesus Christ himself. Bend a knee in prayer. Ask for his power and strength, and we can get this through this together. Anyone have anything to say? Less than 30 minutes? Okay.
You're probably thinking I'm going to say 4 hours ago.
Say it loud.
You'll hear me? Yeah. So I'm only going to speak for maybe 60 seconds here, but it seems important to say this. I'm going to blame him for making me weak. I'm trying to get a hold of myself here. Anyway, I wanted to say that this is a significant thing because when Abraham Lincoln was killed, they took his body like for almost 3 weeks on a train ride throughout America to help people's hearts to turn to God instead of to anger. They were so mad that this had happened to a man that some people thought they were on the verge of worshiping him. There were people who said God took him because we were starting to worship Lincoln. I'm not Lincoln, obviously, but I just want to say that he did something right. It is a pattern for us. It's not like we're not supposed to go and do something. It's not like we're not supposed to look to Heavenly Father and to raise up in prayer and to pull our heads out of the sand. But as we do this, in my opinion, there's something to be kept in mind for the way that America handled the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. That people, instead of turning to more anger and to more hate and to roving bands and armies, which was a very possible thing at the end of the Civil War, and instead they turned to God, and that is where we are going. God bless America. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to take a minute and just give you a second witness of this gentleman here. I have met him and I've run into him on 3 occasions in my life. Very momentous occasions. We don't talk between those times. This is one of the most humble men I know. He is not here dressed for the moment of his choosing. This is his life that he's committed to this persona of messaging in a very peaceful and humble way. Everywhere that I have met him and seen him, he is a symbol that stands beside the other symbol, which is this American flag. And I've been on podiums where I was supposed to say something else, and all I did was bring a flag and put it at the front of the podium and say that this is the symbol. Don't put any other symbols before it. But it by itself has the quiet ability to send the messaging to everyone that it was meant to bring people together and unify humanity. It is us as people who are seeking to abide by its calling. But the Constitution it represents, the body of people who came together, were inspired and called of God against their own interest to create a higher and better way to live. This one shot will be heard across the world faster and farther than any one shot has ever been heard. I assure you. Do something in your own lives to take responsibility for the freedoms which we enjoy and stand for the very things in which we have been beneficiaries of. And let's not be complacent in prosperity. Let's not be complacent in the comforts that we enjoy in this wonderful place, this symbolic place on earth, voted one of the happiest places to live on earth, right here in the greatest country of this earth. This is where this happened. You are in the room where it happened. This is where you get to go forward and determine with your children, your family, your people of influence, how you will respond. And may God be with us in how we do so. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I've got one more thing to say, and then Ryan wants to say a word. I heard in that little talk that we need to take action and how you're going to act here forward. Did everyone hear about a gentleman named OFA, that was killed about 60 days ago downtown Salt Lake? Some heads nod, some not. So we went down to a counter protest. This is important. We went down to a counter protest. There were 7,000 protesting to get rid of Donald Trump, the government, and all that stuff. There was only 6 of us down there. Masked up, we were watching. They had what was called peacekeepers, their own group, monitoring people. They went around the corner. One of their own was carrying an AR pointed to the ground, which you can do in Utah. Innocent man standing behind them. 2 of the peacekeepers drew their guns, shot 3 bullets, shot the guy with the AR in the stomach, and killed Ofa, Polynesian, shot him once in the head, dead. Okay? You can look this up. To this day, no one has been arrested, and they know who the killer is. Sim Gill, your district attorney here in Utah, is not doing his job. I hope and pray that this assassination, if they find this gentleman or person that did this, that justice is done. Because it's not happening in Utah. You're shocked, aren't you? Yeah, look it up. The guy is not behind bars. He's not been arrested. And local PD in Salt Lake, who we know have done their job, submitted everything, nothing's happened. It's disgusting what's happening in our state. It's filthy. The American flag should bring us together. It sure as hell is not. We need to be the change. Ryan's a friend of mine. He has a word to say.
Really quick. A person's freedom is not judged by where they can go. A person's freedom is not judged by the possessions or what they have. It's truly measured by what they can say. To look in this world and identify who the evil people are the ones who are trying to control what you can and cannot say. Those who are trying to censor your speech. Today we lost a valuable voice, and it's up to us to continue with that voice. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
Thanks, Ryan. Anyone else? You okay?
A lot of you don't know me. I met Kish probably 5 years ago. I started coming to pro-police, pro-conservative rallies. And then I kind of stopped because I'm like, I don't really see a point, It is what it is.
You need flame again?
us are probably going to come this way. They're not going to go through city streets. So you're welcome to stay and still hang out, get to know each other. It's important right now. And thanks everyone for coming up once again. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think he's going to come this way.
time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you. To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the
does. He gets mad, but he does what he does. He doesn't carry people. How do you do your pose?
Friends a lot of problems.
Yeah, right? I know. No. They got it from his mom. I got it online. They put it in our house and she had upside down. We had to grab it and stuff. I'm like, oh my god. Dude, like you got me having that shit in my house. It's like, you wonder why there's wild shit happening downstairs. Well, he got it. It's right over my whole house.
Siri text whatever. Hey Siri text Wednesday.
Incredible day. Today I'm a 6 all over the country. You know, while we wait.
like, what's going to be the better? Roads and nobody else comes this way. I was thinking like, is the highway patrol right there yet? I thought they were just following. No, they're gonna. So they're back behind the van right now. So they're gonna follow, escort the van down. I know, right? Well, that's all right. It gives me more light than my camera. How much battery I got left? 50%. Just sad. Yep, here they come.
still might be there because they haven't. Okay, I was wondering why they shut down.
Because I think the state of Utah doesn't allow you to take a body off the corner side of your phone.
If only there'd been a clue.
Where they both open that up? Well, the one guy came down, he might be going back. Yeah, he's like, he might be going back.
What is he doing?
I would have thought that at first, but I don't think so. No, this person's coming out now.
Okay, you're fine. right if you hurry. You can make it right. If you hurry, you can go west.
I bet you. He tricked you.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that?
Those on bar.
Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
Safe travels, brother.
Oh, short and sweet.
That's why I'm excited because we returned so many else. Against the Wolf Mall.
Across the street. Oh, well, you're going to have a hard time placing stuff along the East Coast.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. My name's Ty. I'm a reporter with Associated Press. I drove up you guys what happened. It sounded like you're one of the organizers of this. I know you've probably already been asked 1,000 times, but is there any chance you could do like a quick interview? That'd be awesome.
I'll just do it.
I don't want to interrupt.
No
I'll be
problem.
right here. So
Yeah,
take a minute. Don't worry.
Hospital in Orem. Saying our last farewell. Yeah.
Whoops. Oh, sorry. No, you're good.
I'll let you talk to Kish without me, Brian.
Oh, you're fine. I just realized as it's getting darker, if I don't go that way, I won't see anything. I actually work for the Associated Press.
All right.
Oh, perfect. Sorry, I had to move location just a little.
Yeah, you're good.
If I could have you just stand right there.
Sure. That'll make me look small.
Oh, no, I'm going to move the camera. Thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
The only thing I'll ask, it sounds like you've done...
Did you text me?
Huh? I know you're a busy guy right now.
No.
I'll get a hold of you, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like this will be your first interview, but the only thing I'll ask is you look at me and not the camera.
Sure.
That's about it.
You've never seen me in all the movies I've done? Just kidding.
I swear I think I've actually seen you before.
Brad Pitt, kind of. Brad Pitt is my second name. Just kidding.
I'll hold it.
Okay.
So first question is just, could I have you say your first name, your last name, and spell it for me?
Sure. Kish, K-I-S-H, last name's North.
And what's a good title for you?
Dad, father, organizer.
Organizer of?
Utah, it's called Utah's Patriots. Yeah.
Just 30 second, can you give me a summary of that real quick?
We really play a supportive role here in the state of Utah, helping communities, helping specific people run for office in the state. We help with disasters. We've helped kids with cancer and fundraisers. We are pretty politically driven as well. We do.
So, unfortunately, I know why you're here and why everyone else is here, but what made you want to help organize this and be out here tonight? You spoke to a group earlier. What is it that made you want to be out on the ground here tonight?
Sure, great question. There's a lot of people that feel alone. There's a lot of people that feel scared. Not only now, they felt scared when assassination attempt was done on Donald Trump. They felt scared when Black Lives Matter was out. They feel scared when they're threatened because they have an American flag. So bringing a community together that isn't afraid to come out and be together, people enjoy that. That's what drives me, is when people come and go, hey, thanks so much for putting this together.
I think people will be, it sounds like you've been in the political scene of Utah for a while. I think when people hear this happened in Utah, they might be kind of shocked by that. But it sounds like you said that there is an active kind of political group here. It's not a homogenous, one-sided thing, right?
Hell no. You've got a couple of groups, PSL. They're a socialist group in Salt Lake. They're pretty strong. A group called 5051. They're a national group, and I hate giving them any audience because they're socialists and they want to tear down our country. But they're very rampant, and a lot of them are paid actors. I mean, one of the last events, they had 7,000 there. We know they came in buses and were trucked in, but they were here, right? And Utahns, the local homogenized people, don't even realize it's happening.
Like you said, we had 2 assassination attempts on Trump. Were you concerned that something like this was sort of in the future, that this was a concern? And you talked about the march in Utah earlier 100%. In Salt Lake.
Yeah, there was a march in Utah, and the left killed one of their own and wounded another, right? Alpha was killed, shot in the head by the left. And, there's still no one arrested from it. So am I worried about that? Sure, of course. They don't know how to reason. They don't know how to have a discussion. It's all hate, rhetoric, and threats. That's really what it is.
I wonder if I can get your thoughts on Charlie Kirk was obviously someone that talked to younger conservatives. That was a big part of Turning Point, right? Was that it was for a new generation of conservatives. And it happened on a campus, in public, in the middle of the day. Are you concerned this might have a very chilling effect on people wanting to go out and participate in political events like this?
I think it'll have, unfortunately, more of an action to make people a little more beholden to do more of this action. We sometimes see in society when there's a mass shooting, or take, for instance, the shootings from whatever group, trans or whatever it is, and they go out, well, all of a sudden, sometimes you see an uptick in this, right? And that's unfortunate. I sure hope our president and his administration cracks down on the criminal activity that's going on. I really do. I truly hope and pray that Utahns wake up, is really what I hope. The left and the right is just more of the conservative side of people. We've been very calm and complacent, and people like Charlie speak with words, and they're sharp, and they don't like it. The left seems to do it with guns, which they want to ban anyways. Let's ban the guns, but let's assassinate people with guns. It's kind of an oxymoron. But yeah, I'm concerned, but I'm more concerned that people aren't going to wake up. But I sure hope and pray that this wakes up Utah, let alone America.
Almost finished. Did you ever have an opportunity to see him speak in person?
Yes, years ago, here in Utah.
A couple years ago, but can you tell me, I think I heard him speak in Arizona and Vegas, if my memory serves correctly. I've covered a few political rallies. But can you tell me, what's he like as a speaker? What's it like to listen to him?
I think for me, I think it's like Donald Trump. Donald Trump speaks for a lot of Americans that are afraid to speak, right? I think that's why he resonates with people. People sit on their couch watching football or having a beer or baseball and go, man, I was thinking of just that, or man, that's how I want our country to run. Well, Charlie speaks and people go, Charlie was able to regurgitate what we all think eloquently, right? And he was a great wordsmith. And some of us have a problem putting words together. Like, I'm not the best wordsmith. But Charlie then will speak and go, and it'll go in your head, oh my gosh, that's really what I wanted to say. And he's speaking what I'm feeling. That's what I get out of Charlie.
Gotcha. That was great. Thank you for talking with me. Is there anything you want to say before I let you go?
Wake up, Utah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
No patients in and out of this hospital today.
I appreciate you putting your family on. Sad moments.
Get something?
I just want to put my flag over in the candle vigil.
Flag upside down.
Because it's in distress. What happened today?
Ryan, you leaving? Thanks.
Yeah, I was just
Okay. Zach, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, no worries.
seeing that flag upside down kind of disturbing.
I live a mile down the road.
They're always on since J6, man. I said, I talked to them. I said, kids, we're not coming out with the shit that we can. We're here. And you know what I said? They'll probably come out now. So I said, why? I guess the shit's in the
I saw your post on Instagram. I had to get out of here, man. How you guys doing? Hippie. Ryan, nice to meet you, brother. Zach. Zach? Oh, right on. Right on. I didn't recognize Heather for a second. She's like, is there an able-bodied man? I'm like, right here.
All this shit, crazy shit's going on the freeway. What's going on?
I can walk.
So I work with the Associated Press. That's like, it can be, I work with all the local stations, but it can be up to big guys, but, the nice thing about having like that big reach is that, Minnesota can get access.
So how can we watch your...
honestly,
is there an
I'm sure some of us would definitely make it. I don't know that everything will, but that's kind of one of the easiest places. And then the AP News website probably.
What was your name?
I'm fine.
You take care of it. This is Rocky.
Rocky.
So I'm in on the team.
Oh.
I lost a piece 7 years ago. So I started coming through these pro-police rallies, and that's how pro-Trump rallies. And so Kish is a great guy.
Yeah.
I was going through a hard time with this, and I didn't know who to call. I live in North Hollywood. It's happening. Do you live around here? Or?
I was literally like, my car, and my phone rang, and
I lost my voice. I'm not sick or anything, but I was like, I'm just gonna go see. And I was like, I gotta come back. So, got my dog. I'm glad you made it. You take care of it. Elders? Good.
How many more years do you think you're gonna let it go? Dude, it's gonna keep going.
I did.
It's older than me.
Yeah, I photobombed you boys. There you go.
I couldn't get mine yet. I'll tell them you talk to them.
What's your name? Rice? Jasper. Jasper? Yeah, what's your name? Viking.
Where are you parked?
It's wild, dude.
Down that way. Where
Like
you guys
right in the
at?
middle of everything.
Just right
You were up in the mountains for a long time somewhere.
Yeah, I'm at one more picture.
Fell through my fiance's work during COVID. Apparently, one of the owners we got a bunch of loans on like shell companies, and then he was taking profits in order to keep his ass out of jail. And the company went under, so we kind of lost the property. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, it's all working out. We're getting married sometime next year. Probably elope next month.
Did you find this one?
This one?
No, you see that truck?
Oh.
Call them.
Tinder, she's a keeper.
I got the massive zoom on my shit.
I got that. It's a drinking club. Oh, wait. That's right. I got lucky, dude. I lost when I put my gas mask on, I lost my glasses. Spent 40 minutes. Do you remember by that time the stairs were so burning I couldn't get up if I wanted to? So I just went over there. Yeah.
There have been many people that have done the man on the street, going to college. I'll say honestly, I'm balling on Carl Kirk was the most middle ground person. He was honestly, with everything I've seen, out of nowhere,
Another cop shot him and still he was folded like a lawn chair. And I picked up the bullet. I said, "Yep, my Superman, I'm going home." And I still got it in my side by side.
Start to build a bridge over the county.
Yeah, big ass rubber bullet.
Yeah, they lost on somebody. One side. Yeah.
Oh, they're white. The camera.
The guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, partly just because you pick up a radical figure. The name off. Almost 10 other people that I would have Sure.
You too, man. Yeah.
I don't know. Much really about outside of what
just download Telegram. I'll get you the invite.
But okay, we finally have somebody that has found a way to civilly talk about politics in such a time that is nothing but chaos through politics. And is that something you like? I mean, obviously the Proud Boys have a reputation of being, a little crazy.
A little crazy. We'll think crazy because the fucking city we're going crazy and the government wasn't doing anything about it.
Sure. I mean, it's a big organization. Not everything is just a civil we all believe the same thing. We're in the whole structure of where we're from. Right. I agree with it. I think a lot of people are thinking about that. Exactly. But the whole government's corrupt.
I'm former occupant. I'm a former far leftist.
Hey, hippie. I was told that there was
this isn't just about
no. The Utah County defendants is all there was people. We're all just like together.
There's a breakfast, and then it just showed that there's a and it's only going to get worse. I don't want to go into the conspiracy theory of what the topic was when he was shot.
Sure,
I know the internet's going to go wild with
I love that guy.
But it's also
be in touch, man. See you, brother.
Right when he was even trying to say. Go down in the roads of...
Thanks, man. See you.
Well, he said this, and then he was shot. It's all fake. None of that shit. It's just a fucking tragedy. I wonder, you were former occupied.
Former BLM, everything. Like I wonder,
have dreadlocks.
I used to have dreadlocks down to my ass, man.
Well, I think part of the reason why Charlie was so powerful is because there aren't that many people on the left who are young who are speaking to the left. Do you agree with that? Like, do you think some people...
There's a lot that are speaking to him, just none of them that are making sense.
Right. Well, someone like Charlie could diagnose the issues, be charismatic, whether it's right or left. There's a lot of people that look at politics and they believe so strongly they're not willing to have a civil fucking discussion. Yeah. So Charlie's into a heated debate. The one thing that Charlie could charm anyone was he could take a heated debate and turn it into a civil discussion. Yeah. Which is where he stood out more than Steve Crowder, more than Mike Hero. Who was the first man on the street? Dice.
Mark Dice. Oh shit, yeah, that's a throwback. I haven't heard that name in a while.
He was the first one big man on the street.
Yeah, just sit down and change my mind shits. Steven Crowder might have started it, but Charlie Kirk perfected it. He perfected it.
Since I discovered the realm of politics.
politicians, whether it's the National Guard or local shit. Like the reason we were so cool in the early days is because the city were just allowing the local governments were allowing their cities to be just destroyed. And that's what I said. And people make us out to be. You do justice in your application.
I'll do my best. Byron? Price. Sorry. Jasper?
Yeah.
Byron? No.
I want to know more about.
No, I was one of the first people on the streets of Oakland protesting against Trump. I lived in the Bay. I'm from here, but I lived in the Bay Area for like most of my 20s. I got there a bit late. No, I didn't study there. I studied life there. Put that light again.
Was there a, would you say Charlie was like...
He reaffirmed it. There was other shit before that, like seeing Nancy Pelosi and John McCain agreeing on something.
Right before COVID. So I moved out there at the beginning of 2019 and moved back about the end of September. I lived out there for about 9.5 months. So I moved out right before George, right before COVID, right So did you came and then you came here? No, I was from here. Oh, okay. There. And then moved back. You guys love Oregon.
Oh, I love Utah. I grew up Mormon. I moved away from Utah because I went through my anti-theist phase. I ended up coming back because, well, I mean, like, California is a great place when you're going through your Marxist phase. But then you have, I started looking into history and realized that socialism and communism is not as practical. I grew weed in the Triangle up in Trinity County and realized anarchy is definitely not what it's cracked up to be. Oh, fuck that place. It was. That kind of started me waking up, and then, like I said, I was one of the first people on the streets of Oakland protesting against Trump. Somebody that I met on the road in my hippie days, that had been repelled, he asked me, he told me, like, while I was live streaming, like, hey, ask these guys, like how many of them would be out here if Hillary won? And I figured everybody. I was going to be out there either way. And I started asking people, and they're like, why would we be out here if Hillary won? I'm like, do you know who she is? Yeah. Like, and that just kind of blew my mind. And then I really started digging in. Steven Crowder had a big part in my red villain. The 2020 election really just kind of solidified where I was leaning.
I'm not one side or the other.
I'm definitely not a Republican.
Something I don't understand.
Yeah.
But I understand there's a problem on both sides of this system, let alone the other side of the rest of the system.
Yeah,
totally. For as much as I'd love to say I'm a libertarian, I'm not.
Libertarians would be great if we were the party.
Yeah. You might give me your phone number. I think it's on both of us. What is up?
Well, and so much division. The comments on the threads that were like normal people are saying that it's fine. Yeah, it was just still on lockdown.
just wanted to make sure, especially like cameras, equipment, you guys are more than welcome. Please be here. Be with us respectfully. Our sprinklers are coming on. They're going to start working their way over here. I just don't want you guys to get sprinklered on. This is all great. This is fine. We appreciate this. But just please be aware for everybody here. Thank you. Appreciate that.
wait.